Okay, here's a quick going over and review of the Knog Qudos Action Light and the SP Gadgets POV Light. These two are fairly comparable in their design. They are bright LED lights with a internal rechargeable battery that are waterproof to 40 meters. And then the big similarity between the two is that they are designed so that they can be attached to a GoPro mount, and they're sort of sold as an option for a lot of scuba diving and other areas that you are going to want to take your GoPro that are going to be dark. I'm primarily interested in these to attach to a helmet for night riding, and I'm just going to give you kind of the quick going over. Here's what's in the box for the Qudos. It has a couple of different mounts. Interestingly enough, it does not come with the helmet mount, which is a little bit difficult to see. There you go, it's a good angle. That the POV light comes with, so that it can go directly onto those third-party helmet mounts. In terms of the brightness of these, this is kind of the difference between the two. There's two things, size and then the brightness. The brightness, maximum brightness of the Qudos is 400 lumens, and that's good for a little less than an hour. And then the maximum brightness of the POV light is 300 lumens, and that, they say, is for around 2 hours. So that might be a deciding factor. And then the second thing in here is going to be the size of these two. The Qudos is considerably smaller than the POV light. It's about half the size. And in terms of the weight, they're about the same weight. So if you're looking for something that's a lot smaller to just go into the pocket, then the Knog, the Qudos, is going to be a better fit. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you in a dark area the difference between these two and their brightness settings. Okay, the first one I'm going to start out with is the POV. This is at its brightest setting in the garage. It should come on. There we go. Okay, so this is the brightest setting with the POV light. And so I can get a little bit of a focus on here. So I'm going to actually do this and cycle through the bright settings on here so that you can get a look at this. There's a little better focus. So that's going to go down. This is its lowest flashing setting. Okay, this is SOS. And then it comes back through low, second medium low, medium, and I believe it's got one more. And this is going to be the brightness. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this here, and I'm going to switch over to the Qudos Light at its brightest setting and go through those. So remember what this looks like. Okay, so here's the Qudos. Hopefully that transition was fast enough for you to see. It is noticeably brighter. And I would say that the difference between the two lumens in these, if the POV light is 300 and the Qudos is 400, that's probably accurate in terms of percentage. I don't know if they're actually 300 and 400, but it seems like the Qudos light is about 25% brighter. And then I'll go through the settings with this. Now what you can do is there are 3 LEDs, both of these, and the combination of the brightness settings turns on and off a quantity of bulbs and the strength of those bulbs. So when you go down, this is still all 3 bulbs on the Qudos, and that's their less than brightest. Then there's their spot setting, and then lighter spot setting. Here's wide setting with 2 out of 3 bulbs, or yeah, 2 out of 3 bulbs, lower wide setting, and then here's action mode with everything back on. So then I'm going to go switch over real quick one more time just so you can see the difference on this. So this is brightest setting with the Qudos. And then here is the brightest setting with the POV light. So hopefully that transition was fast enough. And then I'm going to show you outside real quick on brightest settings with these, looking down the alley with minimal light intrusion. Okay, so this is outside with the POV light, and it's, I don't know, probably shooting out, I'm gonna guess, pretty decently, at least 20 feet And this is, again, at the brightest setting, and it's pretty wide. It definitely gives you a fairly wide angle of brightness. And then I'm going to switch over to the Qudos Light. Okay, and then here is the Qudos Light, and I think you should tell it is, in my opinion, easily brighter, noticeably brighter, whereas the POV is not quite as bright. Now, the difference in price between these two at the time of filming, Christmas 2014, the POV Light is $99 on Amazon, and it comes with the helmet mount. And then the Qudos Light is $118 on Amazon, and I'm going to have to spring for another $3 or $4 to get that little mount for the helmet light. But I think that it's probably worth it, just given the size. I'm not going to use this thing to go more than probably an hour of riding at night. So that extra hour, maybe 45 minutes that I can get with the POV Light really does not matter to me. Although it certainly could if you're going to go longer distances. The Qudos is probably not going to quite cut it for you, but you could drop down the power a little bit on this and you can get a couple of hours on its 300 lumen setting. So I guess you could do that. You could not ride at the highest lumen setting, and then it's fairly close to what the POV is, and it'll probably give you just about as much time. So that's the quick go through. Let me know if you have questions. Okay, I'm adding on to this real fast. So this is the brightest setting on the POV Light, all right? And then I'm gonna give you the 2-hour setting on the Qudos Light, where it's not quite the 400 lumens, so that you can see you can get almost probably the same brightness out in terms of time. Essentially, the Qudos, it looks like, can crank it up a little bit more and is a little bit smaller. So here, we're gonna switch over to the Qudos. Okay, so here's the Qudos on the not quite brightest setting, which will give you more time. And then if you really want to crank it up, you can go to their extremely bright 400 lumen setting. So that's it.